Good morning, everyone. Today I am baking panettone. Yes, but not the classical Italian recipe. Instead, I'm doing my gluten morgan panettone recipe, which uses sourdough starter. I know the Italians use also sourdough, but they use a different one called lievito madre, which is a dry one or it's more solid. I am using just regular sourdough starter, as you can see, super active, ready to start working, and of course it's hydrated, as you know me, by the eye. The hydration should be around 80-90%. It's not 1-on-1, it's a little bit more drier, but not as dry as the Italian one. So that's another recipe. This is my kind of recipe, and here is the panettone ready to be baked. Take a look at it. It's the right point to be baked today. This panettone weighs 500 grams, and the oven, which is my oven that I use regularly, it's also preheated at 160 degrees Celsius. So, first of all, before I start baking the panettone, you need to wait here a little bit. I need to do the glaze, or which is the typical frosting of the panettone, which is really easy to use. I put some almond flour here, also powdered sugar, a little bit of cornstarch, and now we add egg whites, and finally a little bit of oil. Now let's mix everything. This is really easy to do. I just need to hydrate everything. And we are going to have this frosting or glaze ready for the panettone. This is going to help the panettone to grow in the oven while we are baking it, so it doesn't get dry really fast. And it's also really, really tasty, really, really sweet. And I also have more sugar. If this was not too much sugar, now I have more granulated sugar, but I'm going to use it on the panettone. Let me mix this, and I'm done. Okay, perfect. Excellent glaze. So now I put this on my panettone. This is the best part. When it's finished, everyone wants to eat the top part of the panettone, which is the sweetest part. Okay, you don't have to use that much because it's going to melt on the panettone. So let me put a little bit on top of it, like this, it's okay. And we'll be ready to go to the oven. Just a little bit there. Let me cover it like this, good. So this is how it looks like. Glaze, and now I put some granulated sugar on top of it. It is never enough. A lot of granulated sugar, and I am ready to take it to the oven. So, as I said, the oven is preheated at 160 degrees Celsius. And here it goes. The fan is working, and I'm going to bake it for around 40 minutes. Let me check. Good, perfect. Okay, panettone in the oven, so let's go with the recipe, which you can see it here. Remember that you can download my app, Gluten Morgan Baker's Percentage, for free for Android and iPhone. And then you put this recipe in Baker's Percentage and start baking like I do. It is really easy to use. Good. So, what we need to do first is the primo impasto, which is a pre-ferment that we're going to do. It's a dough that we're going to do the day before that we start the final dough with these ingredients. Flour. The flour that I am using is an Italian flour, Duet flour, which is perfect for panettone. This means that this kind of flour is more elastic. This is perfect for panettone, so you can make the panettone grow in the oven. That's why I use this Italian panettone, and panettone, of course, is from Italy. So I use this kind of flour. It's 2-0 soft wheat flour. Good. So I have flour. I have a little bit of sugar, egg, sourdough starter, and butter. Yes, this is going to be incredible. So the panettone, it's like a brioche. It's like an Italian brioche. So we're going to have, not in this first dough, the first impasto, the impasto numero uno, which is kind of light, but it's going to get even heavier on the second impasto tomorrow. So we're going to use a lot of eggs and a lot of sugar and a lot of butter. So let's start with the first dough. The primo impasto. I'm also going to use my paddle. I always prefer, when working with this kind of dough, using paddle instead of the hook. So let's go first with the flour. It goes. Now I go with the sourdough starter. Remember that my sourdough starter, as I said, is liquid. It's not the Italian sourdough, which is solid, or they call it lievito madre. And the difference is that they dehydrate it. First, they take this sourdough starter, they dehydrate it, and then they have it dehydrate for a few days, and then they rehydrate it again and use it. That's kind of complicated, so I developed this recipe using just my regular sourdough starter, and it works. Well, I hope so. I don't know what's going on in the oven. Okay, let's continue. So here I have the sugar, the eggs, and the butter. Let's start mixing. Let me put the paddle there and start at low speed. There. There's no water in this kind of bread. Only the water that comes in the sourdough starter. That's the only water that we're going to have in this dough. Also, the other hydration ingredient is the egg, which I'm about to add it now. Country egg. Beautiful yolk, yellow. As much as yellow it is, the better color is going to have the panettone. The color of the panettone comes from the egg yolk. Okay, speed number 1. Looking good. This is the easiest dough, the first one, the first impasto. Here comes the sugar. Looking good. And the only ingredient that is left is the butter. Then I'm going to add it in a few seconds. Let me move to speed 2. And it's looking good. Okay. Let's go with the dough, with the butter. You don't have to add it all at once. Just go adding slowly. One piece each time. There goes 1, 2. On the next dough, we are going to use much more eggs, much more yolk, more sugar, and of course a lot of butter. There it goes. And here goes the rest. There. So now we need to get the gluten developed. It doesn't need to be fully developed in this dough. On the next dough, yes, and it's going to be hard work. So that's why I use the paddle. I always prefer using in this kind of dough, or even if they are very hydrated too, I rather use the paddle instead of the hook. The hook works, and I think it takes longer, so that's why I use the paddle. The dough is almost ready. Just a few seconds more. Let me check how is panettone going here. Ooh, it's growing. I don't know if you can see it yet, but it's starting to rise. Good, looking good. So we're going to eat some panettone. Almost there. Let me put it faster. Number 3. And we are almost done. We will have this. Now the dough is looking good. It looks kind of silky. That's what you're looking for. When it looks kind of silky, it is ready. Just a few seconds. 20 seconds. And I'm done. We still have some time, yes. Good. Oh, there. It's coming. There. That means lower the speed. And that. Take a look at it. It looks like Italian sorbet, ice cream. Good. So, first impasto is ready. The only leavening agent that we're using was this, the sourdough starter. There is no yeast, there's nothing else. So the only thing was the sourdough starter. So always when making panettone and the first impasto, remember to use an active and really active sourdough starter. Here in my channel you have many videos talking about sourdough starter, even though you have a masterclass. If you are interested more in sourdough, remember here I leave you the link so you can see and start today my masterclass in sourdough and sourdough bread too, which is, the panettone is also sourdough bread or sourdough brioche. Good. So here is the dough. I want you to look at it. Look, it's beautiful, silky, beautiful. So now I put it here on this bowl, and now we start waiting. Now's the time we start waiting because this dough needs to double in size. It is going to take a while. It needs to double in size, so it depends on a few things. First of all, sourdough starter, which should always be really active, and then the room temperature. You need to be in a warm place so the sourdough, or I mean this first impasto, rises. It needs to double in size. When it's almost ready to double in size, this may take around from 4 hours, maybe 6 hours, 8 hours. It depends on the power of your sourdough starter and of course the room temperature, which I just said should be warm. So I need to cover this and leave it here in the kitchen till it doubles in size, or almost doubles in size. When it doubles in size, then I take it to the fridge till the next day, so it can rest slowly for the second impasto, which comes now. So here I have the fully grown first impasto. This has been cold fermenting since yesterday. Take a look at the bubbles that it has. It's beautiful. It smells incredible. And now comes the second part. The second impasto, or impasto numero 2, number 2. Which I also need much more ingredients. So, the ingredients for the second impasto are the impasto number 1, more flour, which I am using the same flour as for the first impasto, which is this one, the Oro from Italy, straight from Italy, and of course more sugar, a little bit of salt, a whole egg yolks for the color, and of course butter, lots of butter. So I need to put first the first impasto in the machine again, in the bowl. Take a look at it, how fluffy it is. And it smells incredible. Great. This is the power, the heart of the panettone. This is what is going to rise our panettone. But is it rising? I don't know. Oh, yes, it's coming there. Not yet. I have like half an hour yet. Okay, so first impasto and more flour. So now I am ready to start with this. And here comes the paddle again. There, and I'll start mixing. Now the hydration comes only from the egg and the egg yolks. Also the sugar has a little bit of water, and butter has also water. So that's the hydration of the dough. Now comes the hardest part of the recipe. Okay, let me mix the first impasto with the flour, and now I'll start adding slowly the egg. There it goes. This dough is going to take a little bit longer than the first impasto. That is crucial to develop the gluten. That's really important. That's what we're looking for. But always remember to start with a healthy sourdough starter or a levain, if you make a levain also. So that's the power of the panettone. That's the diff. That's why I started doing this recipe instead of the Italian one, because I didn't want it to use another kind of sourdough, the lievito madre, which I told you that you have to dehydrate it and then you roll it and then you hydrate it again. I don't have a problem with that. It's okay, but I tried to use or develop my recipe like if I were baking a regular bread that I bake every day. So that's why I developed this recipe using just my regular sourdough starter, which is hydrated by the eye. If you see my videos, you'll see that I hydrate by the eye. It should be around 80-90% hydration. I don't know because I do it by the eye. Okay, looking good. Now I'll add some little sugar and start with the egg yolks. Here they go. One, slowly. You need to do this slowly. Good. There it goes. Another one. The color comes from the egg yolks. So maybe in your country or wherever you are, you can buy already pasteurized egg yolks that comes in a milk box. So, but if you want to use like meat and eggs from the country, from happy chicken, it's okay. There goes the last one. And some more sugar. There, looking good. Now we have to fully develop the gluten. That's what I'm looking for, although it's looking good. So the last ingredients that I have are a little bit of sugar and the butter. Here goes the butter. The lot of the sugar goes in. And finally, I have this butter, which I am going to wait a few seconds or minutes, I don't know. I want to read in comments if you have ever tasted panettone or maybe a brioche like this with fruits. Today I'm going to put here grapes and oranges and a little bit of chocolate too. Sometimes I don't put chocolate. Today I'm going to put a little bit of mix in both, because the traditional one is just grapes and oranges, and then you have the chocolate one. Today I have the best of both worlds in the same one. So let me see in comments which one is your favorite. Have you ever tasted panettone? Maybe in Italy or maybe wherever you live you can buy some panettone, or maybe you have already done panettone. It's not an easy dough. I think that panettone, it's a very complicated dough, so you need some kind of skills before you start making panettone. For me, the hardest two breads in bakery are first baguette, which is complicated for France, and then comes the brioche or the panettone from Italy. Those, for me, are the hardest panettone, the ones that I like the most. I love baking baguettes and also making sourdough, making panettone. Good, it's looking good. So now it's time to add the butter. Butter goes in. Slowly. Out of the paste. Here it goes. Another thing about the panettone is this panettone from bakers or from pastry? Who is the owner of the panettone? I think that since it's a panettone and pane in Italian means bread, it should be from bakers. But then all the ingredients that you have to give aroma to the bread comes from the pastry side. The perfume, the vanilla, the oranges, the chocolate, that comes from pastry. But the dough, I think, is from the bakers. Let me also see in the comments what do you think. In which side are you? Or maybe you're in the middle. I'm more on the baker side, you know. Okay. The last piece of butter goes in. Looking really good. Looking really, really good. Ah, there. I missed the salt. Ah, I just found it. There. Ah, almost missed it. Just good. All the ingredients in. And I almost ready. Let me put it a little bit in the third spit for just a second. And this is coming out right now. Great. Let me pick the rest of the things that I need. This and this. And also this. Get ready. Looking good. There. Let's count to 10, 9, 8, 6, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Wow. Wow. Finally. It took a while, but not that much. Great. So, woo. Now I need to put this on the counter. There. It's looking beautiful. Silky. Always silky because of all the butter that we've used. And the eggs too. Great. Beautiful. Whoop. Second. Let me fix it. Oof. And now that the final dough is ready, called the second impasto, impasto 2, or dough number 2, what I'm going to do is to add the flavors. I have here, as I told you before, some oranges, chocolate, and grapes, dried grapes, all mixed together here, and I'm going to put this in the dough. So I have some oil. Here's to help me not sticking it too much to the counter. And let me put this dough there. Don't be scared. It is a little bit sticky. But when you're using the right flour, there is no problem. So a little bit of oil in my hands. And I'll do lamination. This is called lamination. I'm going to open the dough a little bit, not that much. This way so I can add the ingredients to the dough, into the dough. There. This is the best part. Excellent mix of both worlds. Sometimes I'm more an orange guy, and sometimes I'm more a chocolate guy. Depends on the day. Today I'm both. So I have everything. Okay. Close everything. There. There it goes. Now I need to close this. Again. There. Woo. Now you don't have to be afraid. Do it fast. Don't think too much. There. It's a little bit sticky, a little bit messy, but that's the way to work with this dough. Good. I'm making this. There. So now I'm going to give it the final touch to mix everything right. This, like my friend Richard Bertinet, which you can also see a masterclass that I did with him in England, in Bath, in his kitchen. Here's also the link. We're not making panettone, we're making a few different things there. Really interesting masterclass with Richard Bertinet. So, the dough is ready. Looking beautiful. Good. And here I have a kilo impasto or dough. And here from this dough, I'm going to make 2 pieces. So I have to cut it in 2 equal pieces. I hope so. There. And I also have the molds. One mold, another mold. That's the one you've seen when I started baking the panettone, which is still there. Ooh, looking good. Take a look at it. Wow. Beautiful. Good. So, let me finish this. Okay, there. The other one is here. Do they weigh the same? I think this one is a little bit smaller. I should use a weight, but today I am doing it by the eye. You at home, weight the dough always. So, let me give the final shape. Here. There. Look how small the dough is and how big it's going to be when I take it out of the oven. It is going to grow a lot in the oven. So, here I have the mold. And you need to do this really fast. There. Whoa. 1. And now comes the second one. Okay. It's sticky, but if you don't look at too much, you don't think about this that much, you're going to handle it, whoa, well. Ready. Final shape. And here it is, the mold. Here I go. Whoa. There. So, both panettones are now in the molds. And now what we have to do is to wait again. This dough needs to rest double in size. So it's going to be just maybe around the middle of this mold. And then should be the right moment to bake the panettone, which you have already seen at the beginning of this video. And now what I have to do is to wait till this panettone comes out of the oven. In a few seconds, in 15 minutes, I'll see you back. So you might be guessing what I'm doing with this and with this. You'll see it in a few seconds. Come with me. The panettone, it's about to come out of the oven. Just give me a second. And I did this. Nothing. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 8. 5. 8. 5. 4. 6. 4. 3. It's the longest minute I've... there. Good. Panettone. It's ready. It's been 40 minutes in the oven. And take a look at it. Woo! So, as I said, this is like a souffle. So I need to flip it immediately. That's why I'm going to use this to hang it upside down. So this dome doesn't collapse. So get ready. 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Oh, it's still there. Good. So now I'm going to use this other thing to help me keep it like this. Mission accomplished. Done. Good. So we have the panettone ready. Ready? No, not ready. Yes, it is fully baked, but you cannot open the panettone right now. We need to let it cool down for a few hours. And sometimes it's even better to open it on the next day. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for a few hours. If you want to do it with me, no problem. Voila! Now it's ready. It's ready to be opened. After a long time, now finally time to taste the panettone and see how it looks like. Looks beautiful. So let me cut it in half. Oh, it's so tender and fluffy. Ooh. What do you think about it? Wow! But incredible dough. The crumb is beautiful, and it smells. I feel like if I were in Italy right now. I can also hear Santa Claus. And Santa Claus coming, no? Over on Christmas? No. It's what time is it? It's time to taste the panettone. Let me cut another half. I can't believe it. Take a look at this. How fluffy. Ooh, and let's take a look at the crumb. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Tears apart. Ooh, can I try it? It smells like sugar, eggs, vanilla, a lot of things, nuts. Smells like it smells incredible. Oh, and here comes the best part, the frosting part. With this granulated sugar. Oof. Oh, the oranges. Incredible. Well, I hope you have enjoyed my easy panettone recipe. I hope it's not that easy, but it's easier maybe than the other one. Take a look at the results. Good. Woo. So, let me know in comments, what do you think about this recipe? Of another recipe, if you have ever done panettone or panettone with the classical lievito madre, or maybe with liquid sourdough starter. So, hope you have enjoyed as much as me, and I'll see you on the next video. Muy buena.